Welcome you all to the video lecture on the topic Banking Ombudsman. This is the topic which we are learning under the fourth unit of our syllabus, that is recent banking policies. In this particular fourth unit, we are going to discuss about some recent policies adopted by the banking and financial institutions in a recent time. So as a part of this recent banking policies, we are going to study the very first banking related policy, banking related scheme, that is known as Banking Ombudsman scheme. This Banking Ombudsman scheme is a type of mechanism which has been created for the resolution of the complaints which are related with the services of the bank. So in this particular lecture, I am going to explain what is Banking Ombudsman, what are the vision and goals of this Banking Ombudsman scheme, why Reserve Bank of India initiated this particular scheme, what are the grounds of complaint, on which grounds a customer can register his complaint at Banking Ombudsman, what are the commitments of the Banking Ombudsman, and what is the procedure for registering the complaint, and what are the benefits of this Banking Ombudsman. These all are the points which we are going to discuss in this particular lecture. So let us start a discussion on the topic Banking Ombudsman. The Banking Ombudsman is a forum for complaint resolution. It is a platform for the customers of the bank. The customers of the bank, they can register their complaints regarding the services rendered by various banks to them. It is a platform which gives a opportunity to the customers to register their complaint against the bad services which are providing by the banks. Banking Ombudsman is a senior official appointed by Reserve Bank of India to redress the customer complaints against deficiency in banking services. This particular scheme of Banking Ombudsman started from 1995 by Reserve Bank of India as per the Section 35A of Banking Regulation Act 1949. The banks which are covered under this Banking Ombudsman scheme are commercial banks, regional rural banks, scheduled primary cooperative banks. These are the categories of banks which have been covered under Banking Ombudsman scheme. The customers who are related with banks, the customer who are availing the services from these mentioned banks can register the complaint against the banking services at Banking Ombudsman under the Banking Ombudsman scheme. This particular official, senior official of the bank who was working as a Banking Ombudsman, they are working at specific places, and these Ombudsman scheme, the access of the service of the Ombudsman scheme is situated across the countries, and that particular senior official working at certain city level places like Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Bhopal, Bhubaneswar, Chandigarh, Chennai, Guwahati, Hyderabad, Jaipur, Kanpur, Kolkata, Mumbai, New Delhi, Patna and Trivandrum. These are the places of various states where this Banking Ombudsman used to work. Therefore, this scheme of Banking Ombudsman situated all over the country, across the country in different states through different officials. The vision of the Banking Ombudsman is to provide inexpensive, means low cost services, or inexpensive without any cost charged from the customers, and transparent services mechanism to ensure fair treatment to common people or the common person who are availing the banking services, who are utilizing the banking services. And the goals of this banking ombudsman scheme is to solve grievances of the people who are using the banking services and to give and to improve customer services. And another goal of the banking ombudsman is to give feedback and suggestions to RBI and to provide the guidelines to various banks to improve the level of their customer services. And another important thing is to strengthen their internal grievance redressal mechanism is one of the goals of banking ombudsman scheme. The next is commitments of banking ombudsman. The very first commitment of this banking ombudsman scheme is to introduce the complaint tracking system or complaint tracking mechanism in order to function, in order to solve the complaints and issues which are related with the banking services and to solve these complaints and issues as early as possible. And the second commitment is quick turnaround time, means whichever the complaints tracked by the banking ombudsman, whichever the complaints registered with the banking ombudsman scheme will try to solve these complaints within a very short period of time and to give a very quick service quick turnaround time service to the customers. This is the second commitment. And the third important commitment of this banking ombudsman is the inter-district mobility of banking ombudsman within a state. Because this banking ombudsman scheme mechanism is working at a particular place in the state, and they have been committed that this mechanism should be mobile and there should be an inter-district mobility within the state. And the next commitment is the important decisions which have been taken by this forum or to exchange the information. They do use the blogs, they do use to publish their blogs and the important decisions on the websites which have been given by Reserve Bank of India. So these are the important commitments of banking ombudsman. And the next is grounds of complaint. What are the grounds of complaint of this banking ombudsman? On which ground a customer of a bank, on which ground the beneficiary of a bank can register the complaints against the banking services in certain cases. The very first ground of complaint is forced closure of account. If sometimes a bank or financial institutions forces a customer to close his account and forcefully if they are pressing the customer to close their account without any due notice or without any due reason, then that particular customer can register the complaint against the banking activities in that particular case. If they are compelling the customer to close the account. This is the first ground. The second ground is delay or refusal in accepting payments towards taxes. The customer can register the complaint for the refusal to accept or delay in accepting payments towards the taxes as required by the government. This is the second ground of complaint. If the banks are refusing to accept the payments towards the taxes of government, then a customer can register a complaint. The third one is if any of the financial institution is refusing for the opening of the account of a customer without a valid reason, then the customer or an individual can register the complaint. Next is regarding the complaints of non-residential Indians. The complaints from non-resident Indians having accounts in India in relation to their remittance from abroad, deposits and other bank related matters. If non-resident Indians are facing any problems regarding their remittance of the amount, if they are facing any problems regarding the deposits of their amounts, and if they are facing any other related matters, if they are facing any problem, then they can register the complaint on these grounds at the banking ombudsman. And the next ground of uh, complaint is regarding the delay in payment. If banks are making some delays in the payments, then one can register the complaints against this particular action of the bank. Not only delay in payments, but the delay in the collection of checks, in the collection of drafts, sanctioning the bills, on these all cases, the customer can complain, register the complaint against these methods of delays of payment under banking ombudsman scheme. These are the important grounds on which one can register complaint against the financial institutions and banks. And the next point is procedure of complaint. What procedure should be followed for registering this complaint is the next point. The very first point is that the first, before going to the banking ombudsman, before registering the complaint at the banking ombudsman, one should register that complaint. One should give the intimation that they are doing such a complaint to the bank. First, they should register, the customers should register that complaint with the bank itself. If bank fail to resolve that particular problem of the customer, then that customer run towards or go towards the banking ombudsman for giving the complaint. Initially, the customer should give the intimation, the customer should notice that particular thing to the bank. If bank fail to resolve that complaint, then only the customer can go to the ombudsman for registering the complaint, and he should be applied to the ombudsman within 1 year of the event which had been happened with him. Then after the application, the banking ombudsman will consider, if that application is submitted within 1 year, then the banking ombudsman will consider that application, and one can submit this a particular form in a prescribed format. The individual or the customer should fill up the form, and in that prescribed format he should submit that form to the banking ombudsman, and he can also submit this form by online. The customer can submit the complaint online through emails, or they can also submit these complaints in a hard copy at a particular office. The complaints from individual, the representatives of individual, Government of India, Reserve Bank of India can be accepted. Only the complaint registered by the advocates are not accepted in this case. This is the procedure of complaint mechanism of banking ombudsman. Now in brief, I will explain some of the benefits of banking ombudsman scheme. This banking ombudsman scheme is a very active mechanism which promote and in order to resolve the customers of the complaints. It is a good mechanism, it is a good platform for the customers to resolve their problems. Then it is a very mechanism which is working on very low cost, and no cost is incurred by the customers to do these complaints. This assessment under this banking ombudsman scheme is based on fairness, good business practices, and accepted by all banking laws and practices. And it also, this procedure also focuses on the customer education and financial literacy. And customer awareness and empowerment is very essential in this particular scheme, which is also creating awareness among the customers. It also empowers the customers. So customer will get a basic platform to get or to avail the basic services from the banking sectors. So these are some important beneficial points which I mentioned here regarding the Banking Ombudsman scheme. And in this lecture, I stop here. Thank you. Thank you very much.